Today on CityCast Portland, we're talking about the legacy of one of the winemakers who helped put Willamette Valley on the map. We're also getting some book recommendations written by local authors to help fill your summer weekends with a good read. Plus, the best ice cream that is not technically ice cream, but is still delicious and will help you cool off. With me are Senior Artistic Director at Literary Arts, Amanda Bullock, and local food and drink reporter, Alex Frayne. Thank you both so much for being here. Amanda, welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
You two know each other?
Yeah, we've probably been in the same room before.
I'm pretty certain my former colleagues at Portland Monthly had written about you before as well.
Oh, I love Portland Monthly, yeah.
So we usually kick the show off by asking an opening question so any new listeners can get to know you guys a little better. And today's is based on the very sad news that Joe Campbell, a co-founder of Elk Cove Vineyards, passed away at 87 on June 28th. For the non-wine drinkers, Joe and his wife Pat were among the first families to really establish Pinot Noir in our region and also give Willamette Valley the reputation it has now on the global stage. And Elk Cove's Pinots are among the highest rated in the world. They're frequently on publications' best of lists. They're consistently winning gold in competitions. Their wine has been served at fancy White House state dinners with visiting dignitaries are being honored. So they've represented the best of not just Oregon, but American winemaking on the highest stages.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And they've stayed a family-run business since its inception. The vineyard I said co-founded. It was co-founded by his wife, Pat. So Joe retired from winemaking in the late 90s, handing the estate over to his son to manage. Before becoming a winemaker, Joe was a physician in emergency medicine. So when he retired, this is crazy. This is a crazy retirement plan. He went back to medicine, serving on humanitarian volunteer medical missions to Guatemala, Sri Lanka, post-Hurricane Katrina, New Orleans, South Sudan, as well as multiple missions to Peru. He's led one of the most interesting lives, and I just wish he had written a memoir. But the Oregonian did write a really wonderful obituary that I'm going to link to the show notes. I didn't know that he was born and raised in Hood River, and then he got a full ride to Harvard, graduated, went to Stanford for medicine, and then went on to work for the Indian Health Service in Pine Ridge, South Dakota, straight out of Ivy League, which I think is pretty awesome, especially in the 60s. From personal experience, I can attest that the Campbells are just sweet, community-focused, and just very down to earth. So it just crushed me to know that they were at all going through any kind of pain. So my sincere condolences to their entire brood. If you're at all now curious about Elk Cove wine and are looking for a particular expression of their varietals, because they have a few, their La Boheme and Roosevelt bottles are considered to be among their flagship wines, but you really can't go wrong. Just go check out their tasting room in Gaston. It's beautiful. It's becoming the perfect weather to go sit outside and sip wine. So all of this leads me to my opening question, y'all. I'm curious if you have a favorite Oregon wine or even a favorite Oregon wine memory.
I don't know if I can pick a favorite. I love Oregon wine, so I don't know that I have a favorite, but very recently I went to the restaurant Xiaoye because they released a special Xiaoye wine with St. Reginald Parish.
Oh, the Andy, that's right.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm usually a red wine drinker. It is white, but it's really good. It's a perfect summer wine, and the dinner was really fun. They had a bunch of seafood, and they were pouring other St. Reginald wines. And
sounds lovely.
It was great, yeah. I wish it was all the time, but it's also special because it was a one-time thing.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't have a favorite Oregon winery, but I did want to talk about a particular winery, which is Phelps Creek in Hood River. And the reason I'm bringing that up is that, sadly, Joe Campbell is not the only wine pioneer that we lost. So a week before Joe Campbell died, Robert Morris, who was the founder of Phelps Creek, also died. He died on June 21st. He was a pioneer of Hood River wines, a pioneer of the Columbia Gorge wine region. He first planted the vineyards for what would become Phelps Creek in 1990. He was the president of the Columbia Gorge Wine Growers Association. And his daughter is also a very good friend of mine. I learned the news of his passing just last night. I still haven't even spoken with her yet, but I know that Phelps Creek is a really fantastic winery out there. And it's really tragic to lose two such incredible pioneers of Oregon wine in such a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm. It also kind of reminds you how baby we are,
Yeah.
because these vineyards were planted late 60s, 70s, We're so young, and the fact that we as a region are so well known is testament to all of the work that these founders have done. Well, thank you for sharing that, Alex. And I'm going to take a quick break here. And when we come back, Amanda has some book picks for us.
A serious injury, catastrophic crash, or wrongful death can change your life in an instant. The legal path forward can be daunting, especially when the responsible party is a powerful entity. That's why having experienced advocates on your side makes all the difference. At Diamore Law Group, you're not just a number. You're someone with a team of attorneys committed to securing you full justice and working to ensure a safer Oregon for all. Led by veteran attorney Tom Diamore, the firm has spent more than 30 years standing up to corporations, negligent drivers, and corrupt organizations, conducting thorough investigations, working with leading experts, and taking cases all the way through trial, all at no cost unless they win. Contact Diamore Law Group at 503-222-6333 or visit diamorelaw.com for a free consultation. The cases that matter the most are the hardest to win, and that's exactly why they take them.
All right, Amanda, last time you were on, your must-read book for Portland was One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This by Omar El-Akkad. So if I were to ask you that same question today, you could only read one book this summer, what should it be?
First of all, I still think everyone should read Omar's book. So if you haven't gotten to that yet, then a second endorsement for Omar.
I still need to read that, honestly.
It's short. You can do it. It's great. Stop by Literary Arts, pick up a copy. It's our bestseller, I think, in the bookstore. But I also, in a similar vein, and I think as a good, actually supporting book to Omar's book, Jill Lepore's Pulitzer Prize winner, We the People, which is a history of the Constitution, which might not sound like a hot summer read, but it is. It
does not, no.
Well, it's the semi-quincentennial or whatever it is. It's
the
250.
Semi-quincentennial.
Well, I think that's what it is. But it's with the America 250, I think.
Oh, it's on theme. I'm hearing what you're saying.
Yeah, it's on theme. So it's the anniversary of constitutionalism as well. Of course, that's the anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, not of the Constitution. But I think Jill is amazing. She's a great writer. This is a very, very readable history book. And I think a history that, many of us learn in like middle school. And I didn't remember how many amendments we had until I read it. And a lot of the book is about how hard it is to amend the Constitution and why that is so hard now and different periods in history where we have managed to amend the Constitution. And a lot of it is also about how we have this system of checks and balances that was created because the founders didn't trust anyone and thought that anybody who got power would eventually get tyrannical about it, basically.
Imagine that.
And so they set up
Luckily, that never happened.
Yeah, I know. So, why would we want to know about that right now?
So jaded, yeah.
Yeah. But, if the people use that system, it is there. It's great. Jill is just great. She's a wonderful writer. She's alarmingly prolific. She has a new book coming out this fall about AI. And I really
alarmingly prolific.
I was going to say that's
alarmingly.
Such a good
she is a Harvard professor. She has a serious, amazing, good book a year. She writes for the New Yorker all the time.
I see what you're saying.
Like I said, it's very readable and interesting, and it doesn't feel like spinach. Spinach is great, first of all, but it doesn't feel like spinach. It's not like you're taking your medicine. You will learn a lot. And I think summer is a great time to read a really long book. I actually think that's a time to dive deep into something. So I'm going to stand by We the People.
I'll throw a link in the show notes for those who are just interested.
Yeah, it's great. And it won the Pulitzer Prize last year, so I'm not alone in endorsing it.
Well, what about some additional summer reads that may not be as a deep dive into our Constitution, but could subsist us in, I don't know, hanging out at Sophie's Island maybe?
Yeah. Any book's a beach read if you read it on the beach, but just like any meal's breakfast if you eat it for breakfast. But some fiction for your summer is, first of all, I wanted to talk about this book, Homebound, which came out in May. It's a debut novel by Portia Alon, and it has 3 timelines. There's a timeline in 1983 with this young woman she's 19, she's in college, she's going to be a computer programmer. She's coming into her queer identity and discovering punk music and grieving her uncle who just passed away and had written a computer game and left it to her that she's trying to figure out.
That's so
There's
interesting.
also-
I love speculative fiction. Yeah.
Right? That's only one of the 3 timelines. And it's one of those books that has 3 stories and they're all good. It's not like you're reading one and then you get to the one you don't like and you're like, can I get back to that one? They're all good.
Okay.
The second one is a scientist in 2078 who's working on like robots and artificial intelligence and navigating doing that in this like academic setting, and kind of private companies starting to use that, you know, for maybe not that good reasons. And then the last timeline is in 2586 and is
Damn.
this, yeah, right? And is this woman who's a sea captain of this salvage ship. And one of the most interesting things about her timeline is she is practicing Judaism in 2586. Like they practice the Sabbath on the ship, which I thought was just really cool.
Yeah.
But a lot of what the book is like thinking about is home. Like, where is home? You know, the ship is at sea. This young woman is in college and trying to figure out who she is. And at first, you know, these 3 things seem like they have nothing to do with each other. But of course, as the book goes on, it starts to explore like what connects not just these women, but all of us through time. I could not believe it was a debut. It's also a very hopeful book. A lot of the books I read are huge bummers. And this one, I think, you know, there's people are going through some tough stuff. Otherwise, there's not a lot of good books about like an awesome time was had and nothing went wrong. But I do think it's a really hopeful book. It's if you liked like Anthony Doerr's Cloud Cuckoo Land, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, things like that. Really, really great. Loved Homebound. And that is out now, so you can get it now.
I mean, I'm sold.
Yeah, it sounds really up my alley for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
I love that the most future timeline sounds like the most archaic one. Like they're on a ship scavenging for parts, you know?
Yeah.
And they're practicing the Sabbath. And it's just like going back to a lot of ancient scripts almost.
Yeah. And I actually didn't realize this till this moment, but my second book also involves treasure hunting. And that is by a Portland author, Kathleen Boland. Her book, Scavengers. This came out earlier this year and is literally about a treasure hunt. There's this young woman who is a commodities trader, which I know what that is from reading this book, but I didn't really know what that was before I read this book, in New York, and ends up back home with her like pretty eccentric mother, who it turns out has read online about this literal buried treasure and wants to go look for it. And so they go to the desert Southwest at much reluctance on one side and much excitement on the other to look for this treasure. And hijinks ensue, and they, as they're wont to do. It's really funny. It's a really great mother-daughter story, and it's really really good portrayal of the Southwest too. I know Katie really loves that landscape, and the epigraph is from Joy Williams. And so if you like Joy Williams, you'll like this book. And I think it's a great time. It would be a good summer read, whether you're road tripping or not.
That sounds like the perfect summer read. I mean, looking for treasure. That's
Yeah. Treasure with your mom,
with your mom.
who learned about it on the internet.
Yeah.
And there's also like a sketchy dude that she met
love it.
online. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's perfect. Yes.
Yeah. So relatable.
Yes. I'm like, sign me up. Like all you had to add in was some sort of like nutritional pills involved. And I'm like, that's my mom, you know?
Yeah. The mom is like really into plants and is very woo woo. And then her daughter is very like put together. And so, you know, they challenge each other as they do. And then the last book I have is not quite out. It's out in July 21st. And that's Famous Men by Julie Bunton, who does have some connections to Portland. She does have some family out here. And Julie wrote Marlena, which came out about 10 years ago and is about a young woman in Michigan. This book is one of those books, I could not stop reading it. I almost like canceled dinner with my friend because I wanted to read, but then I realized I could just read when I got home from dinner. So pre-order it, get it when it's out. The book is about a young woman named Will who's growing up in Michigan and discovers these poetry books in her mom's house that are signed to her mom and are by this guy who went to this really small school that is near her house, this like small fancy school that's definitely Interlochen if you know Michigan. And she becomes convinced that this guy is her dad, and she writes him a letter, and then she decides she wants to be a poet, and she moves to New York and finds him and starts working. He's not her dad, which is key for the next parts of the story, which you know pretty soon. And they end up having a relationship. And
what kind of
there's a lot
relationship?
of like a sexual relationship. And there's a lot of questions about money and power and art and, of course, consent and a lot of tensions of class. Will really has no money and is in a lot of these situations because she's like striving for these things around all these people in New York who mysteriously have their own apartments and things like that. Julie said in the introduction that's in the advanced edition that she wrote Marlena to deal with a lot of her unprocessed grief. That book is about a young woman whose friend dies. And this book, she said she wrote to deal with her unprocessed anger. And I think that that's a really compelling kind of hook for this kind of story. And it's asking some of those similar questions about relationships between like students and teachers and like older men and younger women and agency around that in a much different way than I've kind of seen anything else talk about these kinds of questions. So I just loved it. It's wonderfully written. It's also, I like funny books. There are funny parts in it. And I just think the voice is so great. And I think it's going to be a big one.
Nice. Which one are you going to read out of all of these? Alex, which one?
I was like, I already read them all.
I think, what was that, Home?
I was like, I'm talking to Alex, Amanda. Amanda, which book are you going to read that you just recommended? Jesus.
Sorry, what was the name of it again? It wasn't Homestead. It was
Homebound.
Homebound definitely is one that seems to grip me first because the books that I read tend to either have magic or spaceships in them. So when you said that one of the settings was in 2500, I was like, okay, there we go. That's the one I'm going to check out
There's
first.
an astronaut, too. There's a space. There's not really magic, but there's like,
Well, I mean, you know, either. I essentially tend to read genre fiction.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then Homebound's the one for you. There's
Nice.
there's technology that seems magical.
Well, we're going to link to these in our show notes. So hopefully, you found something that you want to read. Let's take a quick break here. And when we come back, we asked Alex to gather his picks for the best ice cream in Portland. But it's Alex. So, of course, he has other plans.
I do.
All right, Alex, why don't you explain what we're in for?
So I think Portland has a lot of great ice cream, obviously. There's some pretty obvious names out there. But I think that one of the things that the city does really well is go for frozen treats that go beyond ice cream. So really quickly, I just want to say what ice cream is. I think a lot of people know, but may not know exactly what it is, which is essentially going to be sweetened milk or cream with a certain amount of fat in it. It has to have 10% milk fat by the U.S. dairy standards. And then that ice cream is churned and served at a very cold temperature. That's what ice cream is.
Oh, look, Amanda's taking notes. Amanda's taking notes about this. She doesn't
I have
want
a
to
book
forget.
recommendation that I want to
Oh, fascinating. So I wanted to look at some places that may serve ice cream, but also serve other things that are very similar or related to ice cream, but aren't strictly fall into the ice cream category. And the first one is going to be Kulfi on North Williams. And Kulfi is founded by Gagan Alak and Kiran Shima. It started off first as like a series of farmers market stalls and then food carts, and then it had a shop in Alberta. Now it has a larger shop on North Williams. And they serve what you might expect is kulfi, which is also called Indian ice cream. And what Indian ice cream is essentially sweetened condensed milk that's frozen. So rather than being churned, it's just straight frozen. And because of that, it's going to be a lot firmer, and it's almost always served as a popsicle. And at Kulfi, they've got a lot of really fascinating flavors. Their signature is the Rose City, which uses rose water and ufhaza, which is like this syrup from India, and cardamom with pistachios. And they also have flavors like creamy mango and saffron. And so most of these Kulfi are going to be served like I said, like a popsicle, essentially, like a dairy popsicle. And Kulfi also has ice cream, which they churn on site. And they also have the Rose City flavor, as well as like a mango lassi and all these other really great flavors that might incorporate like cardamom or saffron or pistachio or rose water. It's just a really interesting flavor and style of ice cream.
Nice.
And then I want to jump all the way down to Southeast Portland to Cornet Custard. So frozen custard is essentially an ice cream that also has the addition of egg in it, or egg yolk. So Cornet Custard was founded a number of years ago by Micah Paredes and Naomi Pomeroy. It was, I believe it actually started at Ripe Collective and then opened as a brick and mortar on division. So the thing about cornut custard is that each quart of cornut custard has a dozen egg yolks in it.
Oh my God, that's so dense.
It's dense, but it's also because it's churned and because it has this high sugar and fat quality, it's going to be really like light and airy even still. What it is, it's incredibly rich. And they have some really rich flavors that add to that. It's like this thick custard. It starts off in a stand mixer where they actually whisk the egg yolks and sugar. So it gets really like rich and creamy and fluffy. And then they mix in the hot milk and cream, and then it's churned into this thick custard. So if you have like a sweet tooth and if you're looking for something that's like a really like even richer than traditional ice cream, then cornut custard is going to be definitely
decadent.
Yeah, decadent is a perfect, absolutely. That's a great descriptor for it. And that's going to be down on Division right near the Shell, where Micah is now the executive chef since it opened.
Nice.
She's been a longtime collaborator with Naomi Pomeroy, one of her best friends, for decades now. And then because it's Portland, we also have a lot of vegan options for a lot of our food, right? We have like a vegan fast food restaurant. We have all sorts of vegan options. And we have Kate's Ice Cream, or Kate's, which is a vegan ice creamery. And they have 3 locations now. There's one up on Mississippi. There's one on Northwest 23rd. And then they have a Beaverton shop. I think all of their ice cream is made with coconut cream. So it's not going to be like a soy cream or an oat cream, which I can't eat because of my annoying soy allergy. And just to double down on kind of like the Portland aspect of it, Kate's is also entirely gluten-free. So they might have like a Marionberry pie ice cream or a brownie ice cream, and that's going to be made with like almond flour or other things like that. They also list all of their allergens, which is really helpful. And then one of the most exciting things about Kate's is that twice a year, they release for, I think, about a week usually, the Choco Loco, which is essentially their take on the Choco Taco that was discontinued by Klondike in, I think, like 2022. Mm-hmm. And that sells out. Like, they'll post about it on their social media. So you really want to keep an eye out for that because it goes really, really quickly. And it only sticks around for like a week or so. And that was founded by Kate Williams, I should add. So it's an eponymous shop. And then back down to Division, I want to talk about one of our top gelato shops. I know that it's my frequent colleague Brooke's favorite gelato in town. That's Pinolo Gelato, founded by a Tuscan native named Sandro Paolino. And if you know anything about Italians and cooking, you know that they take their cooking very, very seriously. That any sort of like deviation from the norm is considered aberrant for like a lot of Italians, right?
I mean, not only like how they cook, but also when you eat things. Like,
absolutely.
They're like, you can't eat that right now. They're like, why? But Favor is like, are you drinking wine with pizza? That's disgusting. You drink beer. And it's just like, oh, okay.
See, I don't get that. Italians are weird.
In Italy, it's like, it's just whatever. Go on.
I mean, they've been doing it for a long time. Like,
they should know.
They might be onto something.
Yeah.
So gelato is different from ice cream in a couple different ways. Now, technically, I think you can kind of, well, no, it's not technically ice cream because it's generally going to have a lower milk fat percentage. Rather than that 10%, it's going to have closer to something like a 6 to 8%.
Oh, so it's healthy is what I'm hearing. This gelato is very healthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, good. Low fat.
Actually,
wonderful.
Kind of in a funny way, it kind of is. It also traditionally or often will have less sugar, and that's the case with Pinolo Gelato. And the churning method is going to be a lot slower, and that introduces less air. So you're looking at what would be a denser, lighter ice cream. It's almost always made with milk rather than cream, whereas ice cream is sometimes made with like a mixture of milk and cream. So again, it's going to have that lower fat. But the main thing is it's served at a higher temperature. So it's still frozen, but it's not nearly as frozen as ice cream is. And that higher temperature is going to allow those flavors to come through a lot more. When you have something that's really, really cold, you're blocking a lot of the flavor, which is why you need all of that sugar in ice cream and all of that fat to really kind of make it taste like something that's not just like ice, essentially. Mm-hmm. So with gelato, with this slower process and with this higher temperature, the flavors just come through a lot clearer. And so you're able to have like a little bit less sugar and things like that while still having these really complex and really delicious desserts. And Pinolo Gelato, which I should also mention has like carts and they do catering and things like that. They have a lot of these Italian flavors as well. So hazelnut and pistachio and stracciatella. And stracciatella in gelato, there's like a couple different styles of stracciatella. I think there's like a cheese that's stracciatella. But in gelato, it's when you add in melted chocolate. So you get these like ribbons of chocolate throughout it. And then they also do seasonal flavors as well. If you go over to, it's right on 37th and Division. If you go there anytime during the summer after like 3 p.m., be prepared to stand in a line for a while. There's always, especially on weekends, there's always a line going down the block.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't have pine nut ice cream. They're called Panolo.
I believe they do have pine nut ice cream. I believe that's
cool.
a seasonal one, and I think
pine
it's
nut.
called the Panolo.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty sure they have that. And then the last one I want to talk about that, again, is kind of really pushing the definition of ice cream is Ice Queen. That also started off, I believe, as like farmers markets and food carts and things like that, and then a walk-up window. Now they have a brick and mortar over on 11th. That's Rebecca Smith. And it is an entirely vegan dessert shop that serves Mexican paletas, which I'm sure you're familiar with, Claudia.
Why?
Because you're
Just messing with you. I'm the Mexican. Mexican.
So
Did you see the color leave his face?
I was
I'm
just giving
Ecuadorian,
you
man.
that
Like, what
line.
do you-
I was just
No,
wait,
I'm
really?
Mexican. Yeah, that's fine. I love paletas.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
Yeah, it's great. Go on. Sorry, go ahead.
Paletas, right? So that they're frozen fruit treats, right? They're usually like popsicles. They're often either just fruit or they're mixed with like a soy milk or an oat milk or things like that. But they also, like, since they've been open for a number of years now, they've really expanded their offerings. Like one of the most popular items are called thick flurries, which are kind of like their spin on like a McFlurry. It's a soft serve that's made with either, I think, like soy and oat milks. Because again, all this is vegan. And then all sorts of wild toppings. They also serve like chocolate dipped bananas and ice creams, 100% vegan. And they get some pretty wild flavors. I think they had like a Monster Energy flavor once or something like that.
No.
Yeah, they had a Monster Energy, and they might have like cashew tahini espresso or blueberry
that sounds good.
pancake, roasted
I like that.
pineapple. Yeah, watermelon tagine, and they'll sprinkle with like
tahine?
chamoy or tagine. Tahine.
I'm actually excited. I've only been to one of these places. I've been to Kate's. Amanda, have you been to any of these?
I haven't been to the brick and mortars of most of these, but if you don't want to stand in line at Panolo, they have it at Wellspent Market.
Yeah, a lot of these spots
Yeah.
do sell retail as well. Absolutely. Kate's does, and Ice Queen even delivers, actually. You can order online for delivery with them.
Amanda, what's your favorite ice cream?
I really love, locally, I love the Panolo Fior di Latte gelato, and I like to put salt on. I put salt on almost all my ice cream, but I like to put salt and olive oil on it and have a sort. Yeah, it's really good.
Salt and ice cream on gelato is a baller move.
It's my favorite food is salt. So, but yeah, the Fior di Latte gelato with sea salt and some good olive oil. It's my like treat. But if I'm just at a normal place, I'm a vanilla girl. I will defend vanilla. I think it's very underrated.
Oh, okay.
That there is nothing wrong with vanilla. People like they spent so much imperialism was built around vanilla. Okay, that is like a hugely important commodity and flavor.
Yeah, vanilla's great. But real quick, if you want to learn more about ice cream, this wonderful cookbook just came out called Ice Cream Queen by Lokalani Alabanza, who makes saturated ice cream out in Nashville. She's an expert on Black Americana. She's a Black woman, and it's a lot about the history of Black women making ice cream. And like, she's so cool and so amazing. She has made Nashville hot chicken ice cream.
Oh my God.
What?
Yeah, and it's a beautiful book. It's a beautiful package. So if you want to read while you eat your ice cream and ice cream adjacent offerings, really recommend Ice Cream Queen by Lokalani.
Perfect. See, this is the perfect beach read. Is you're eating ice cream, you're reading about ice cream. I feel like we finally nailed it. I mean, we started at constitutional, just deep dives.
But you can have
to
it all. You can also read about the Constitution while you eat ice
Totally,
cream.
100%.
That sounds very American,
100%. Yeah.
A bald eagle flies over you.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's not
except
what
that's
a
a
bald
red-tailed
eagle-
hawk, remember?
Oh my
Yes.
God, Alex, for fuck's sake. So anyhow,
Red-tailed hawk noise.
that's true. Yes, an eagle
Bald eagles
sounds
peep.
like a penguin's getting choked. Okay, thank you so much, y'all, for hanging out with me.
On that note,
On that note, thank you both for being here. Amanda, thank you more than Alex.
Thank you. This was
I
fun.
appreciate you both.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Anytime. I love telling people what to read.
I like that Claudia being nice to me lasted one episode, a single episode last week. She was like, I would be nicer to Alex, and people never ask me at parties why I hate him.
Well, that's because Brooke was on, and I
One
knew,
week.
and I just was like, it's two mean older sisters and Alex. And like, you know, even though I think Brooke is younger than you, but like, that's the energy we bring.
Yes.
And I needed someone on your side. I just knew it was just going to be unfair. So
Okay,
yeah.
so I only get the treatment when
if
Brooke
Brooke's
is
here.
on. Noted.
Unless she plays good cop next time, then, you know, we'll do that.
All bets are off. Cool.
Anyhow,
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you both.
I'm glad it's lunchtime now because I'm hungry now. So thanks. This was great. You made it easy.
Thank you.
That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, share it with a friend, rate, leave us a good review, and don't forget you can support the show and get great perks like ad-free listening by becoming a CityCast Portland neighbor. Just visit membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's or at, I don't know, Panolo Gelato, because I want to go there. And I'm going to try this olive oil and salt thing. That's crazy, Amanda.
It's good. Highly recommend.